Oh, hello, everybody. This is Mike from Mike's Magic Auto Detailing and Paint Enhancement here in a sunny Sharpsburg, Georgia. Welcome back. Y'all, please excuse my sniffling. I don't know what's going on. I think maybe it's just the polish out there dusting, getting all up in my nose. Even though I've been wearing a mask all day, man, it's been making my nose run like an open water faucet. Anyway, I'm going to show you some photographs here. Some of you may remember back where I was trying to clean these little drip rails here. They were so bad. I think a lot of it was dried soap scum and all that kind of stuff, and it just wouldn't come clean. I ended up having to go to a dry lubricant sandpaper, which is a relatively new technology in 1500 grit. I think what I'm doing here is trying to damp sand. I think that's a 3000 damp Trizact disc that I've got on a little hand thingy there because it's so narrow. The problem was this paint is cheaper paint than this paint. This is a flat black. This is metal flake. Hey Bob, hey buddy, how you doing? These were a BITCH. Oh man, I'm gonna see if I can go back here and show you guys some other this is a photo from the roof where I'm pointing out a lot of deep, oh man, deep, bad scratches on the roof. Look at all that right there, folks. Look at all that. That was terrible. Oh, look at that big old scratch, would you? And most of these were very deep. Some of them I could not go after when they're so far down into clear coat. And that white, I think what you're seeing there may be primer, I'm not sure. Look at all those scratches and gouges, would you? Oh my goodness. Just some contaminants, all that kind of stuff on that roof. Oh, look at those scratches. Man, oh man. Whew. There's a deep one right there. It was kind of a V. I'm not sure what caused that. I talked to a couple people who have done these hardtop convertible BMWs, and they tell me that sometimes you get dirt and grit and all that kind of stuff, and when it actually goes down into the car, when you put the roof down, it gouges the paint if you're not really careful. So you should always wipe it clean, they tell me, before you let it down. Anyway, I don't know because I've never owned one of those, but hey, let's walk out there. And I am now 100% done with the roof and the hood. I forgot to take any real good before pictures of the hood, but I think it was even worse than the roof as far as scratching, contaminants, paint defects, all that kind of stuff goes. Boy, I can barely talk from all this stuff. Man, but hey, let's take a walk out and look at it in real time, shall we, Bob? All right then. Miss Vicky too. I hope Miss Vicky gets a chance to watch that. She's the owner of this vehicle. Just gonna take you around, show you the final results here. About 2 days on the roof. Now I'm pretty happy with how that turned out, Bob. If you remember the photographs from a while ago. Oh man. It was so bad it almost had no shine to it at all. And now it looks pretty darn good. You remember all those deep scratches that were on the roof from the photographs I just showed you a few moments ago? For the most part, they are invisible. You can't see them really. I mean, some of them, if you get up really close, nose to the paint, as I say, you can see them. All that on the other side is gone. Did this on both sides. Went ahead and did the mirror on the other side. I hadn't done this mirror yet. Did this down through here. The same thing. This I did with 3000 damp sandpaper, the Trizact disc. But then I had to keep going with that 1500 stuff here. Here's some of the stuff I was using. Bob, if you're still there, as I sniffle my way through this video. Holy crap. I've had the door closed, Bob, but just a few minutes ago I opened it up just to let some fresh air in here. There's some of the 3000 grit. I was using 1000. Those are the boxes they come in. There's that little hand thingy I did. I think there's 3000 on that one. This is that dry sandpaper I was telling you about. It's some kind of relatively new stuff. I'll show you the box there. It's 1500 grit. You use it dry. And this is to remove texture and defects or really, really bad paint. Because it's fairly aggressive, Bob. More aggressive than I would say even wet sandpaper. But I use some of that too. It's soaking in this. There's a bucket of water there. There's 2000 grit wet sandpaper soaking in there. I used it on certain spots. There's some of the buffers I was using. Dual action interface pad with damp sandpaper. Sometimes I changed backing plates on this buffer, which is a rotary for certain spots. That's a 5-inch rotary with a 5-inch backing pad on it. That's the beast, I call it. With an 8-inch wool pad, which I used on a lot of this paint. There's my little nano cordless, which I used on certain parts. It's a dual action also. I used that, which is just a Ryobi dual action sander on big wide flat spots. It's got some 3000 damp sandpaper on it, the 3M Trizact stuff, and a 5-inch. Of course, 5-inch buffer. The disc I bought were 6 inches, so I had to cut them down. Not a big deal. Just draw a circle around it, cut it out. Oh boy. For finishing down, this is a 15mm long throw dual action polisher, they call it. This is the Pro version, which has a much more powerful motor than the other model that they have. Hey Jen, my daughter Jenny. This is where I was using that dry lubricant 1500 sandpaper. That's an interface pad. Some spots I had to do it by hand. It was too touchy, too fragile. There's my dust mask, which wasn't working very good. I don't know, Jen. Maybe you can tell me. This wasn't even keeping the dusting from the polish out of my nose. I don't know how it would help keep COVID away. There's my pad spur, as they call it, for cleaning pads on the fly. This was the final polish I used. This is the compound I used after all the sanding was over. Of course, some of you may remember my pointer. And I did remember to cut my air compressor off before I started this. But I just showed you guys the roof a while ago. Here's the hood. Man, oh man. Look at that gloss and shine, would you? Ooh wee. And that's just with whatever little protection the final polish leaves behind. That's all the protection that's on here. But I'm here to tell y'all that is slick. I'd say 95% of the gouges and scratches have been removed, and removed permanently. They're not just glossed over. If you'd have just done a 1-step or a 2-step polish on this thing, yeah, you would have probably got close to this shine, Jenny. But then what you would have had is shiny scratches. Which there are still a few of those left here. Like there's a defect in the paint itself. That's a defect in the base coat. Nothing I can do about that. Nothing. No amount of detailing is going to fix that. There were some rock chips. I don't know if y'all can see that. A good many rock chips. There's some deep scratching there, which no amount of detailing is going to remove unless you want to take off way more clear coat than I was willing to risk. I've removed, even though I wet sanded with different grits of wet sand, laboriously and tediously, and then I compounded, then I polished. I removed very, very, very little clear coat off of this hood. Very little, and the roof. And I don't dare go any deeper. But man, you know, the more scratches you remove, the better shine and gloss you're going to get. Man, oh man. I've gone all the way down to this tape here. Now I'm going to get started, I think, on the trunk. Oh boy, there's some other my stuff I was using. That's just a bottle of distilled water. Sometimes I would use it if the, hey Jeff, sometimes if the stuff started drying out, a compound or whatever, I would just spritz a little distilled water on there. And there's my paint prep. Between each step, I paint prep the metal so that I'm not sanding or polishing dust that might have accumulated on the paint. Different wipe off rags, prepping rag. There's my swirl finder, as I call it. This is a little Optimum no rinse, diluted down to the quick decal solution, which is what I would sometimes spritz on here to just wipe the dust off before I started the next step. There's why I double check my paint thickness. That's my paint thickness gauge. And this is a thermometer, and I would use that to monitor the temperature of the paint, particularly during the polishing phase, because I don't want it, you're generating a lot of friction and heat, particularly with the dual action polisher, even with those black pads. And so I monitor how hot the panel's getting. Sometimes I'll move on to another section, let this cool down before I come back to it if I think it needs more polishing. Don't just keep polishing and polishing and polishing and polishing. This will get way too hot and you run the risk of burning the clear coat or damaging it or removing way too much. So sometimes if it gets too hot and I'm doing this section, I'll move and do this section a while, and then I'll move back. Just out of an abundance of caution. Y'all do it however you want to do it. I've been having to clean some pads on the fly. Man, there's some of the pads I've used in this process. That's my pad washer. There's some pads I've cleaned. They're waiting to be used. Oh man, and you can see this selection here, you guys. All kinds of sandpapers and sanders and hand sanding and compounds and different pads, different buffers. Whew. And then the polish, the final polish was all done with that Long Throw Pro and the black soft Lake Country polishing pad. Oh, hey Bob. Okay, buddy. I'm just about to sign off so I can get busy. I'm supposed to be done with this car by Tuesday. Miss Vicky, I'm not sure I'm going to make that deadline, but some of this stuff you just can't rush. You just can't. I still got the glass to polish and finish off, and oh man, all the rest of this, and some of this car is really hammered, almost as bad as this and this, but usually your horizontal surfaces are the worst. I'm going to do the trunk next. Okay guys, I appreciate y'all dropping by. Like they say, like, tag, share, follow, thumbs up, thumbs down, all that stuff. Okay guys, thank you very much. I hope y'all have a great Sunday, what's left of it. I'm going to drop my door, let the heat catch back up. Ah, yeah, see. Yeah, but even with the door open, see, this is another one of my imported tools. It is 63 in the garage. I'll pop the door up. Earlier I had it up to 70 something in here, Bob. The humidity is low and almost too low, and I think that's what's causing my stuff to dust. Is the ultra low humidity. It's usually not this low. So I had the air conditioner on at one point also to control the humidity, but I think even the natural humidity, I had cut it off, but the natural humidity in this weather is so low. That's what's making it dust, which is just kind of aggravating. But like I say, it gets all up in my nose, even with a mask on. Ah, man. But one thing I do hate to wear, I don't mind wearing that little mask, but man, I hate wearing this thing. But I may have to go to this. What do you call that, a respirator? Just out of self-defense. Oh, man. Hey, Richard. All right, guys. I appreciate y'all very, very much. Y'all have a great Sunday. I will do another video at some point in the future. I hope you're liking what you see, Miss Vicky. Miss Vicky is my owner. Nice, nice, nice real estate lady, and a fellow guitar player. All right, guys. Catch you later. Bye.